A very good afternoon, everyone. We're really enjoying the Global Engineering Education Expo. And we are here for our second session today. We are delighted to welcome Adam Jones from Swansea University, UK, on our session on engineering, the most of your to secure a graduate placement. This session will be delivered by Adam. Adam has over 12 years of work experience. University close to 7 years. He is responsible for management of undergraduate and postgraduate student recruitment, especially for the international students and for the College of Engineering. In his role, Adam manages campaigns. He collaborates with the internal departments for basically the benefit of the students. So if you have any questions with regards to engineering, studying engineering in UK or Swansea, Adam is the right person. Okay, so as I mentioned, Adam will be covering a topic today. His session is on engineering trends and how to make the most of your degree experience to secure a graduate placement. Okay, it's really going to be and interactive. So we request you to keep your questions ready. He'll be taking all the questions at the end. So if you have any questions, please type it in the chat box and Adam will be taking them at the end of his session. Yeah. Thank you very much. And Adam, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitali, and good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining today. I'm going to share my screen in just a moment, so bear with me. Okay, so as Mitali said, my name is Adam. I'm from the Faculty of Science Engineering at Swansea University. I'll very, very briefly give a bit of context to where I'm from. So this is Swansea University. So Swansea University, we were founded in 1920, so we're 100 years old as an institution. We started as just a single campus university on the image on the bottom of your screen. And then 6 years ago, we opened our second campus in the city, which is the top screen. And that is the home of our engineering and computer science departments, as well as our business school. Swansea is a fairly small city. Certainly compared to what some of you may be used to. We have a population of around 250,000 people. And we have 23,000 students in our university. So, it's a big part of the city. In the most recent National Student Survey in 2020, Swansea University was ranked 6th in the UK overall for student satisfaction. Now, in terms of engineering itself, all of our engineering courses are ranked in the top 15 in the UK per the Times Good University Guide. Our research quality is ranked 10th in the UK in the Complete University Guide. I'm going to tell you a little bit shortly about the importance of that. And what is really important to us is that our graduates go on and have strong careers. The university was founded at the behest of local engineering industry to produce good graduates and conduct good research and development. And nothing has changed. So even now, we're ranked in the top 10 in the UK for graduate level employability in engineering, with 97% of our graduates placed within 6 months of graduating, according to the last national assessment done for careers. In particular today, I'm going to talk to you about engineering trends and just a snapshot and some examples of what's happening in industry, and how that should inform and influence the decisions that you are making at this point. And as you get onto a program, how to make the most of your degree to secure graduate placement beyond that. Now, to talk briefly then about certain sector trends that are really prominent at the moment. One is Industry 4.0, of course. So that's, a term that's bandied about a lot. I know the Indian government is hot on it in terms of policy as well, and we're seeing that develop a lot in the companies that we work with at the university. But a lot of people don't understand quite what it means. Ultimately, and really simply, it's a move towards a more digitized method of work, utilizing the Internet of Things, big data, and the new communication infrastructure. And we see that developing more and more these days with the adoption of 5G technology on a mass scale, for example, is really going to fuel Industry 4.0 in that everything becomes far more automated. Okay. Now, there's a few years ago when this first started kicking off, there were the concerns and the panic that robots are going to take our jobs. That's not the case. Certainly not at the scale it's at the moment. But even when it comes to automation in manufacturing, for example, the robots can only do so much. They need to be programmed. They need to be created and developed. And we need control. So we need safe user interaction with that as well. So jobs aren't going. New jobs are being created because of this digitization and this move towards automation. So that should feed into what programs you are selecting to study, but also what modules are incorporated within those programs. So stuff like mechanical engineering, is becoming far more focused on the use of robotics and automation, and with training and learning based on that. Similarly, computer science and software engineering. Now, another trend is again, critically important for the planet, and that's on sustainability. So again, there's the panic, certainly amongst petrochemical companies, as an example, that as the world becomes greener and we're moving away from fossil fuels, for example, that's the end of that sector. But that's not the case. The sector is moving with the times, and new jobs, new departments, new roles that have never existed before are being created to serve sustainability within certain companies and sectors. Okay, so we see it as companies are trying to become greener. There's a lot of opportunities there because it's never been done before. We're started on the ground floor. It's a fantastic opportunity to have lots of new jobs that others wouldn't be trained for either. So it's principles around the effective use of resources, eliminating waste, or even creating a circular economy where waste can be reused, and the use of alternative materials, and of course, renewable resources. And again, this doesn't just apply to the petrochemical or the energy sectors. Sustainability is embedded across all sectors within industry now. If you think of the civil sector, civil engineering sector, where the homes that we are creating and the buildings that we are creating need to be long-term sustainable. They need to be eco-friendly, yes, but also limit costs and expenditure and resources on energy, as an example. We need to retain heat, and we need new energy sources integrated into our structures. So again, that's really important there. In manufacturing, and if you're looking at cars as an example, cars are by government policies need to have fewer emissions. Companies are going to be punished financially if they don't meet targets. So cars are becoming lighter, and parts are becoming lighter. So even from the design through to the production, sustainability is in mind, and it's changing the way things have always been done in these sectors. And on the theme of sort of manufacturing and making parts smaller, lighter, eliminating waste, something that's sprung up off the back of this and has really kicked on in recent years is the adoption of additive layer manufacturing. Okay, so certainly in automotive, aerospace, and even medical sector, producing and printing 3D objects from a range of materials, but really specialised and focused in that we are producing only what we need. There's less waste with the materials that we are using. And again, the use of materials is critical in all of this. So material science and technology is feeding into all of this. Parts of cars will become lighter, which will, in theory, then reduce emissions and yes, save the planet, but also save financial penalty for companies. So there's a big focus on this from companies. And then just on the topic of COVID, we're all living through it. I would love to be in a big conference hall in India in person, meeting you all and delivering this presentation, but we're doing it virtually, unfortunately. The way that we're all working has changed because of COVID. But when it comes to engineering, we're doing virtual site inspections virtually now. But there's also benefits to that. So yes, moving away and, having social distancing is good. But actually, it can be simplified. It's a cheaper method. So the use of drones or the creation of sites in augmented reality or even virtual reality that you can then walk through and see as close as you can get, that's been adopted more and more in the last 18 months. So again, that's something that we see taken forward, and the lessons learned because of COVID will change the post-COVID world. All right, so that's something to bear in mind and factor in, is that yes, globally, there are things that are happening. So the digitization, and there comes concerns and threats and things we need to be aware of when it comes to the digitization of things. There's sustainability and the need to be greener and save our planet. And also companies, because of pressure of financial penalty and government policy, they need to be greener, so that creates jobs. So external factors like that are really good. And then what companies are adopting and adapting and taking on because of COVID will influence what's happening afterwards. So please bear that in mind. Now, ultimately, these things, and these are just a snapshot of some things I wanted to talk about today, these should influence what you want to go and study as a degree and as a program. You need to factor in, okay? So where is biggest growth and what degree is going to take you into that? Now, a very good thing is that all of the world's problems don't care about degree titles and subjects or disciplines. Problems need to be solved with a multidisciplinary approach. So, talking about energy as an example. So I work quite a lot in the field of solar cell technology, where we have material scientists, mechanical engineers, electronic engineers, and chemists working together on that application. Okay, so it doesn't matter in effect what you go in with, because you're not going to be boxed in. You're going to be working with engineers and scientists from other disciplines. And that's something you need to factor in as well as you do go forward in your degrees and certainly in your careers, is that adaptability and that openness to work in a multidisciplinary approach to solve these problems. Now, so in terms of your degree, that's what you need to factor in. Now, other things you need to factor in when choosing your degree that will help with your career. So this is just a little sample that's been done. In the types of skills or qualities that are needed to get certain types of roles and how it's changed over time. So 10 years ago, and it's not that long ago, as a graduate engineer coming out, the big focus was simply on engineering design, and graduate engineers were very, very practical from the off. And it's only when people typically became technical directors, group directors, and CEOs that business development came into that, for example. But the world has changed. It's far more professional. Expectations and standards are different and are higher in a lot of cases. So you need more than your technical engineering skills when you get out of university and into the jobs market. You need to have project management skills and experience as much as you can as well. And then the business development side of things. So that kicks in a lot sooner and it's expected of senior engineers, and as you kick on then through that. So yes, at the start, as an early career engineer, engineering, your technical skills are important, but you need your non-engineering skills to be developed and to have experience in an application in that field as well. So it's changed a lot. So you need to be selecting degree programs that would foster this. The modules, the opportunities, the projects that, yes, will develop your technical skills, but also those wider skills. Some people call them soft skills. So it's stuff around problem solving, critical thinking, people management, coordinating with others, your judgment, how to negotiate. So it's really, really important. So some of these qualities are inherent in some people. I know from working in India and working with my Indian colleagues and students, you're very entrepreneurial, very business-minded. A lot of our startups come from our Indian faculty and students. But that for others, some of these need to be developed, and that comes through the modules that we provide. So some may be focused purely on these, or within our technical engineering modules, the way in which we teach and assess and provide group work and opportunities and lab work will actually develop a lot of these qualities as well. So you need to factor that in when you're looking at degree programs also. So as I said, you need to factor in those with the relevant technical modules that will feed into the current sector trends, all right? But you also need to factor in the non-technical modules and opportunities. So there's just an example on the right hand of screen there of some of the modules that we deliver on one of our engineering programs at Swansea University. And you can see there's stuff like circular economy and sustainable engineering, moving with that trend of industry, and there's smart manufacturing moving with it. But there's also some that could be applied in any industry, any non-engineering ones, such as strategy and project management, asset management and the foundations of management, enterprise and innovation. So this is formalized even as modules on one of our programs. And that's consistent across a lot of our programs at undergraduate and postgraduate level. So you need to be looking out for, yes, the right and relevant technical engineering modules in the right program, but also what extra opportunities are there to develop non-engineering qualities and skills that you are going to need to kick on in your career, because just getting that first job isn't enough as far as I'm concerned. I don't want you to just get a job as an entry-level engineer. How are you going to progress in your career and be promoted and develop into those further and higher roles? And that's where these extras come into it. Now, whilst in university, things that you can do to further your career before you even left the university. So you need to build relationships with academics. I don't mean, just sitting at the front of class and putting your hand up to every question. Make sure you are meeting in office hours with certain academics. You're keen and interested to learn about their research, their activity, what they are delivering. Because these people that are teaching you at UK universities are also doing research at the coalface, in effect, of some of those sector trends I've spoken about. They're working and collaborating with their industry partners. So a lot of them are working in collaboration. For example, we've got a lot of staff who collaborate with Tata Steel on steel coatings, for example. All right. It's an in for you guys. All right. So if you can build up a relationship with the academic, you are in effect building up a relationship with the industrial partners and collaborators. You should be based on that, get a feel for and narrow in and focus on what you want to do and select who is the most relevant academic member of staff for that. So if you are interested in solar cell technology, then you will get a feel and you will learn who are the top researchers in that field, and you can look to work with them. So whether this is at undergraduate or postgraduate level, you could do your dissertation supervised by them, on a field related to their research. And again, it's a good relationship builder, but your work on your project could actually feed into their research projects, and you become a collaborator with them. And you can also, at undergraduate and postgraduate level, self-propose your own projects. So if you want to work on something in particular that would lend well to the work that some of our academics are doing, you can actually set your own project title. And then as long as it is approved and as long as it fits within our research activity, you could then work with them. So the opportunities are there, but you need to be a bit proactive as students to maximize the wealth of staff that are there for you. And in terms of extras, so the non-curriculum things, although this is embedded within our programs, there will be opportunities, certainly at Swansea University, but at most UK universities, to do a year in industry. So, and all of our undergraduate programs have a year in industry option. Some postgraduate programs do. So we've got 5 MSc programs that instead of being 1 year, they are 2 years in duration. And one of those is a year in industry placement. Placements have got to be a minimum of 40 weeks. So, it's typically a year. And it's got to be paid. So again, this is a good money maker, but also, it's good practical experience for you to develop as an engineer. But it's good on your CV, on your resume, for when you are going for graduate engineering roles, you can show that you've done work already. Year in industries aren't guaranteed. So all of the recruitment process for year in industry placements are controlled by the placement provider. But most universities, and certainly ours, provide the support required to be successful in that recruitment process. And I'll talk to you shortly about that. So we provide, for example, mock interviews and mock assessment centres. Now, even if you don't want to do a year in industry placement, you should, as an engineering student, maximise on all of the events that will be taking place in your university. All right. And there will always be careers events going on at your university, either generally or specific to engineering. So these are just examples of what we run in just one semester in terms of employability events. So there's guest speakers that come in. We provide careers fairs for students to network and to learn about and to build relationships with employers. Mock interviews and mock assessment centres that are actually delivered by company representatives based on their exact process. So we don't need to guess. We don't need to do general practice of how to be good at interviews. We can pull in people that will ask the exact questions that they ask when trying to recruit graduate engineers. And then, maximize, the people that are coming onto campus from industry or visits out to industry as well. All right, so this is just a snapshot, and this will be happening continuously. You don't need to wait until your final year of study to do this, okay? As soon as you arrive in year 1 of your undergraduate degree or in the second week of your MSc program, you should be utilizing this. And there's also ad hoc personalized support, all right? So you can call in and meet with our careers teams and our staff there and get specialized personalized support as you need it. So again, really, you've got to be proactive as well as waiting for this prescribed program of events as well. And this is just a snapshot. It just shows that multidisciplinary element. These are the placement providers. So the companies that provide year in industries to our Swansea University students. You can see there's opportunity to work across a range of sectors, but they're very large, multinational, well-known companies. You can do your placement, do your year in industry placement in India, if you are able to secure a placement there and if you're able to arrange something. So there's lots of ways to go about it. We have 5 minutes for questions now. Before we do go to that, take note, please. Our website is really helpful, not just about obviously studying in Swansea, but also about engineering in general. So that's www.swansea.ac.uk. And take note of my email address and feel free to contact me directly and personally anytime you like as well. So I'm going to read through the questions now. Just bear with me. If anyone has any questions, please do type them in now. I'm going to read through. I can see a question that came in while I was speaking. What's the best master's program for mechanical engineers? We do an MSc in mechanical engineering, and most institutions would. It's the most general of degree programs. You can specialize, and there are more and more institutions who are doing very specific MSc programs. At this stage, I would recommend an MSc in mechanical engineering. There was a question from Soham, the difference between ME, MS, MSc and MTech courses. In the UK, all of our taught postgraduate programs in engineering are MSc. I believe you call them MTech in India. We have integrated undergraduate degrees to master's level. So rather than doing a bachelor's in 3 years, you can study for 4 years straight and have an MEng. Or you could do 3 years and get a BEng, and then a separate program of 1 year for an MSc. So you get 2 degrees from that. If there's any questions, I'm just reading through. In terms of Girish asking about postdoc positions, so for postdoctoral vacancies, it's not through a student recruitment process. That's actually an employment. So that would come from staff vacancies that would be advertised as a job rather than as an education program. Okay, so yeah, as postdoc research vacancies become available, they'd be advertised in the job section of universities rather than educational programs. Pralab has asked about master's program in civil engineering. Yep. So again, most institutions would have an MSc in civil engineering. We do at Swansea University, but there are also specialist versions of that. So within our university, because we specialize a lot in computer modeling and simulation, we do also do MScs in computational engineering, computational mechanics, and structural engineering. So again, you can either go for a general MSc in civil engineering or something specialist such as structural engineering, which is far more computationally orientated. Dinesh has asked if we have a master in construction management. We don't do it specifically in construction management, but we do have a very exciting program. It's an MSc in engineering, leadership and management. So there are some technical engineering modules, but it's delivered in collaboration with our business school. So again, there's a lot of leadership and management modules and projects based on that. That would feed into construction management as a career. Pratik has asked about students' focus to get a placement right after college and during the college period. I mentioned the year in industry, which is controlled by employers and by companies themselves. There's also other short placement opportunities that you can utilize as part of your degree program, such as summer internships. Some will be paid, some will be unpaid. We provide short 2-week or 4-week placements within the faculty, working with our researchers, as an example. So again, it doesn't have to be this big formal year in industry. You could look at short internships. As I said, really do projects where possible, in collaboration with the researchers relevant to your field of interest, or who have industrial collaborators. But also get general work experience as much as you can as well. So again, there will be university opportunities where you can work as student ambassadors. If you're a PhD student, you could become a demonstrator, so what you may term as a teaching assistant, and deliver on our undergraduate programs. Cypher's asked if there's an age limit to apply for engineering in the UK. No, absolutely not. So, as long as you've got the relevant educational background, or work experience in lieu of that, or a combination of both, that would be fine. Surya has asked if Swansea University has an MBA course. We do. So we've always had one. It took a bit of a hiatus for a few years. It was recently brought back in a year or two ago. So if you go to our website, which I'm going to type into the chat box, and search for the MBA there, you'll be able to access the information for that. We got a question about the Masters in Engineering Management after a Bachelor's in Mechanical Engineering. Yeah, absolutely. I do recommend it. It's a fantastic program. Pragna's asked, currently studying in the 12th grade, which engineering discipline they should take up. Depends on what you're interested in. It depends on what field you want to go into. As I've mentioned, some are more general than others. Mechanical engineering is a good example to feed into lots of different companies and sectors. Another one is electronic and electrical engineering, which is very, very good as well. You've got to consider where you want to be working and what the sector trends are there as well. So again, if you want to return to India as a career, what's happening in terms of government policy and prominent companies that would feed into increased opportunities there as well. Surya's asked, is IELTS required? Typically, yes. So for undergraduate students, you need an IELTS of 6.0. For postgraduates, it's 6.5. However, Swansea University will accept your Year 12 English scores. For the most part, depending on your exam board. So as long as you've scored 70% in your Year 12 English, you won't be required to do IELTS. I'm very conscious of time, everyone. So we're going to put an end to question and answer there, but please do check the chat box. I put my email address into that. Feel free to contact me directly. And I'll be happy to answer your questions over email then. Okay, so it's r.adam.jones@swansea.ac.uk. Thank you so much, everyone, for all your time, for so many interesting and fantastic questions. I look forward to hearing from you and to helping you as much as I can. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy the rest of your weekend.